The people who desire deep emotional connection the most are very often the same people most afraid of it, not because they don't care, but precisely because they care too much. And this video is going to explain exactly why and what to do about it. So let's say you're on a date with a girl you just met, and something about them is different. The conversation goes somewhere real almost immediately. You laugh in a way you haven't in a while. You drive home thinking about it, and then something happens. Not to them, in you. A quiet pulling back, a sudden awareness of everything that could go wrong if you let this become something. So you create a little distance, just enough to feel safe. And you tell yourself you're just being careful. But being careful has kept you alone for longer than you planned. If you recognize yourself in that, what you are is someone whose nervous system learned, at some point, that closeness comes with a cost, and it has been protecting you from that cost ever since. The problem is that the same wall that keeps the pain out also keeps the connection out. And for someone who has always wanted to be truly known by another person, that is not protection. That is a quiet kind of self-deprivation. Psychologists have studied this experience in considerable depth, and there are three concepts that together explain not just why this happens, but why it tends to affect people who feel the most deeply. The first is attachment theory. The way intimacy was modeled for you in your earliest years created a blueprint for how safe closeness feels now. If love in those early years was inconsistent, conditional, or painful, your nervous system did not conclude that those relationships were the problem. It concluded that closeness itself was the risk. And it has been operating on that conclusion ever since, quietly steering you away from the very thing you want most. The second is emotional hypervigilance. People who have been hurt by closeness develop a finely tuned internal alarm system, one that detects the earliest possible signal of emotional danger and responds before the threat even fully arrives. This system does not distinguish between danger and intimacy. Both trigger the same alarm. The person who finally shows up and means it gets the same response as the one who never did. The third is the vulnerability paradox. Genuine intimacy requires being seen, fully, honestly, without the edited version of yourself standing in the way. But for someone whose nervous system associates being seen with being hurt, that act of opening is not experienced as connection. It is experienced as exposure. This is why the people who want connection most are often the ones who sabotage it most reliably. Not out of self-destruction, but out of a very deep and very misguided attempt at self-preservation. Here is something worth recognizing. The fear of intimacy is not a fear of other people. It is a fear of your own depth. You already know how much you are capable of feeling, and somewhere along the way you learned that giving that much of yourself was something far too dangerous. So the wall went up, and it worked. But the same wall that kept the pain out has been keeping the connection out too. And for someone who feels as deeply as you do, that is not safety, that is self-deprivation. The only cure for this self-deprivation is to have a corrective emotional experience. This is defined as the process by which a new relationship, one that responds with care instead of harm, slowly rewires your nervous system's association between closeness and danger. Every time you open slightly and the world does not end, the blueprint updates. Attachment patterns formed in childhood are not life sentences. They are working theories, and working theories can be revised. You do not need to tear the wall down. You need to open the door slightly. One honest conversation. One moment of saying what you actually mean instead of the edited, safer version of it. One decision to let someone see a part of you that you usually keep hidden and then stay present long enough to see what they do with it. So here is your call to action. Think of one person in your life right now, someone you like that has been kept at a distance. Reach out to them this week and provide one genuine moment of presence, a moment that shows them you care.